Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Sunny, your host, and today we are going to do our first hands-on session in Python. But before that, I have some prerequisite for you guys, especially those who have never used Python or who do not have Python installed in their system. So for that, I have already created one video where I have shown that how to do the basic setup. Similar steps can be applied on like Mac OS and even on Linux. Slightly difference will be there. Some slight differences will be there while doing the installation, but the core concept will be the same that you need to follow. And this will be a one time pain. I will say that if you're starting for the first time, maybe you will not understand everything here, but I will suggest you still just do perform those steps. At least you will thank me later. Why? Because it has everything, like from development environment to remote repositories for GitHub and all those things, which you will obviously learn later in this course as well. That is just one time setup. Okay, so apart from that, I have also created notes and codes link for you guys, which is available here in the link. If you see the description of your of this playlist, so you will find this link here, and also in this video as well I will put this link for you guys. So if I go to that link, so it will look like this, where I have arranged all the things for you guys, where I have the like outline of the course. Even videos are present, same videos are present here also. If you want, you can play it from here, and if you want, you can even go to YouTube and just play it. Okay, so in a same order I will be following for the upcoming lectures as well. Okay, there may be some changes here, and you can even navigate from the left hand side. If you see, click on installation, so you can go there, and introduction to Python, you can go here. And if you're looking for any notes related to that specific course, so you can simply click on that. Let's say if I talk about introduction to Python notes, which will be the part of this playlist, so you can see that these notes are there, handwritten notes. So this will be available in this way. And if there are any coding notes also, so you will find out like this. Let's say getting started, so this is the notes for this particular video, and if I click on that, or right click on that, or even if you just click on here itself, so you will land up here, and you can see that all the details are there. Like if you would like to read it, so definitely you can approach in this way. So all of the code is arranged. And if you want to copy it, so you can copy it from here and then run it in your system. Everything is available here. Apart from that, if you want to check the source of this documentation, so you can click on the extreme top right corner. If you just click on that, so you will just come to my GitHub repository. So I have arranged everything for you guys so that you don't have to jump here and there, and it will be just available here itself. So consider subscribing my channel as well if you like my delivery of lectures. So let's get started now. So right now I'm on my desktop here, and I have created a folder called as demo here. So I will be doing my most of the coding here itself. So let's open this. Now let's open this folder using open with code here. Okay, you should get this option here while after right clicking it. And in case if you are not getting like that options like that, so you can at least, let's say you can open terminal here if you have installed git bash, or even you can start git bash, anything which is suitable for you. Let's say I will show you with this git bash. So once you open git bash, it will appear like this, and you can just type code space and then dot. That means I'm opening VS Code in my current working directory. So if I do this, it will open the VS Code here itself. So this is how it will look like, and it will show you some welcome screen. So you can close that. Now let's create our first file here. So for that, you can even right click here, or there is an option, there is an icon here which you can click. So let's click that and write here demo.py. So this will create our file, first Python file. So I usually like the minimalist approach. So let me make this, or let me open this file into Zen mode. So what is Zen mode here in VS Code? If you go to view and click on appearance, so you can go to Zen mode here. Control plus KZ is the shortcut. So what happens here is that it will open only that file, and the rest of the interface will be not visible. So in that way, you will have some clear visuals. Now after that, I have just increased the font here. You can just simply press Control plus in your keyboard to increase the font. If you want to decrease the font, you can just write Control minus. So that's how you can increase or decrease it. Now let's write our first Python program. So this is a custom normally. So here you can simply write hello world, and you can even copy paste here, and let's write some more context here. Let's say if I write hello world and then, or hello Python enthusiast. In order to save it, you just press Control S And if you have not saved it, so you will see there is a white dot here which shows that this file is not yet saved. And if you sometimes it happens, even it happens with me as well, like I forget to save and I try to run it and I do not see the outcome. So make sure that you just press Ctrl S and you see cross sign here. That means the file is already saved. So let me first of all run this, and after that I will explain that what this print statement is, or this. So let's run this. So to run, I have just pressed this button, play button. So it will simply run your code into your default terminal. So right now you can see all the outcome, which is here, like it's simply printed whatever I have mentioned here into this strings or into this quotes, okay, inside this print function. So now officially you have ran your first Python program. But let me show you another way. So let's say if you want to run this into your terminal, so you can simply press Ctrl tilde sign. Okay, so this will open your terminal, default terminal. So if you don't want to run by this play button here or run code button, so you can simply write here also like Python space and then demo.py. If you do this, it will also give you the same outcome here itself. So there are two alternatives that you can follow. Now let's start with this. What is this print statement? So print statement is nothing but it is just give you some hints about the program. Like let's say if you want to display something, some information on your terminal while running this program, so you can use print statement. So whatever goes into print, it will be simply printed out. Now let's say if you want to print, let's say sum of 4 plus 2. If you run this, it will give you outcome as 6. So in this way, whatever information I want to print, I can print on the screen. So it's an inbuilt function in Python itself, which will help you to display some information on the terminal while running this Python script. Now, what is the use case of this? Why we are going to use print statements? So let me get rid of this first. And now if I run this program, so it's just simply print 6, but I don't know what is 6. Okay, let's say if I close this file here, so I have right now this file present. I don't know what is the content of this, but I'm a user of this file which is given to me, and I just have to run this file. So for that, I will just open terminal, and if I try to run by using python demo.py, so it will simply print 6 here. So as a user, I don't know what is this 6. So in order to give some context that what this 6 means, what I will do, I will simply write another print statement here, and I will say sum of 4 and 2 and equal to sign. If I do this, and now if I try to run python demo.py, so you can see now it is saying sum of 4 and 2 is 6. So it gave a context here that what this 6 means. So in a similar way, Python print statements are actually, it is used just to show you or just to give the some context to the user that, okay, what is these values? Why we are printing this, right? And you will see that this is the most used Python commands, right? So we will be using it more oftenly. So that's why this is the generally this is the start of Python lectures. Okay, so now get back to the Python file here. Now there is another alternative that if you want to keep them into one single line, so you can simply get rid of this and you can simply write comma and then you can give the values here itself. So if you run this, so it will show everything in one line. Now let's try to understand what are comments in Python. So comments in Python are nothing but it is meant for the developers or fellow developers. So why it is? It's just to give them that, okay, what this piece of code is doing. So let's say if I have to explain them to my fellow colleagues or developers here, okay, I am doing the sum of the two values. So by reading this comment, they can understand. Now when I run this code, so you will see that there is nothing going to happen to this, because it will be ignored by the Python interpreter. So it will automatically, whichever statement which start with hashtag, so it will think that, okay, it's a comment. Okay, I hope you got the basic idea here now. Now let's say if you want to print some multiple lines of code or multiple lines of comments. So what you can do, either you can here write that let's say the following code is simple mathematical calculation, and let's say if we also have one more calculation here, let's say product of 4 and 2 it will be 4 asterisk sign here you have to use to print the product of 4 and 2. So if I now run this, so it will give you the answers. Now I have written this using 2 hashtags, but if you don't want, let's say if you have more lines of code, so you cannot just start writing, keep on using hashtags. So for that, there is a other approach. You can simply select this and you can put them into a triple quotes. So in that way, you don't have to use these hashtags. So this will also be treated as multi-line comments in Python. So if I again run this, you will see that it will not going to print this. So these are called as example of multi-line comments. In this way, what we do is we try to provide a kind of inline documentation to our fellow developers so that they can understand our code well. And this is very good practice to give the hint that, okay, what this following piece of code is doing. So in that way, you will save some time for your fellow developers too. But they don't have to go directly into this line of code and try to understand like what is going on here. Although it is very simple here, but later on you will realize that when we write some complex logic, so sometimes it is difficult at a first glance to understand that. So that is why we try to provide inline comments. So now let's talk about the errors or exception in Python. So this is something which is going to be lifelong with you as long as Python exists or any programming language exists. So errors and exception will be a part of it. So that's why I'm covering in the first video, and we are going to observe this or learn from errors and exception in this journey. So that's why I'm covering it the first, because most of the people get scared when they get to see that their program is not working. So that's why it is important to cover. So let's talk about them. So first thing, like although it looks like synonymous here that errors or exception are kind of similar, but they are slightly different. So let me tell you that what is the difference here. So first is, let's talk about the errors. So in Python, what is errors? Errors is nothing but it's a mistake in the code that prevents the program from running correctly. So let's look into one example. Okay, that will make things clear. So let's say if I have print statement, and if I, let's say, print something, whatever it can be, let's say anything, let's say hello world only. So this gives no error, right? If I run this, so this program will run flawlessly. And if I have any other sentence here, let's say welcome to the world of Python programming. So here, as you can see that again, if I run this, so it is going to give you the same results. But let's say if I forget something here, let's say if I, in the first line, I forgot this, I forgot to close the parenthesis. That means I'm violating the syntax here. And even if I, let's say if I hover here, so it says, obviously my ID is already saying that it is a syntax error, unexpected token. But let me still run this and let's see. So you can see that it has, it is telling that at line number 10, at this point, it says that parenthesis was never closed. So you can see that it is giving at line number 10, there is an issue. And if I rectify this, so it will run. So that is an error. So it is what it is doing. It is, if there is a mistake in the code, so it will automatically prevent me running from the code. It will not do anything at all. Okay. It will simply give me error then and there itself. Now, let's talk about exception. This is fairly simple, right? If you make any mistakes, obviously your program will not run easily. Now, so let's talk about exception. So exception or exception on the other hand is, it's an event that occurs during the execution of a program and that disrupts the normal flow of the program's instructions. Now, what does this mean? So let's say if I have another statement here which says division of x and y. Now let's say here x and y could be anything. So let's say we have, let's say 2 divided by 3. So if I run this program will run very as simple as that. And you can see everything is getting printed, right? But now let's say if I make it 0 here. So now if I run this 2 divided by 0, as you know that mathematically it is infinite, or we can say that it is not defined. But let's see what happened programmatically if I run this. So you can see that it is showing that there is a 0 division error and it is showing at line number 14. That is exactly true. But you can see that before that there was written, I wrote hello world, so it ran. So that is the exact difference what I wanted to tell you about here between errors and exception. That exception can happen because of maybe a logical error. So there could be possibility like this is a logical error, right? It is not a syntactical error. I'm not making any mistake that will not at all allow the Python program to learn. As per syntax, this line of code is absolutely correct, but there was a mistake here, and that mistake is logical. That like I might make a mistake like this, like logical mistakes, which will prevent my program to run, but not entirely. It is able to run this successfully. Only this is where I got a exception. Got this? So I hope this made things clear, that what is errors and exception. So while doing your program, so if you see that few lines of code ran before the exception occurred at any of your line, so you can think of that as an exception. Otherwise it could be an error. Although when I ran this, so it doesn't tell me that it is exception. It says 0 division error. So although they are displaying this as an error, but it's an exception. Now let's say if I again remove this bracket here and if I again run it, so you will see that hello world will also be not displayed here. That means that line number 13. But if I keep that, it will get printed. The first line will get printed, but remainings are after this, it will stop. So that is what I was also talking about interpreted language in my first class, where I gave you this example, like what does interpreted mean. So here you can see it is interpreted correctly. So that's why it ran this line. Here it did not run it correctly. But if there is a syntactical error, obviously it will prevent you from running the entire code or part of the code. Now, what should be done if we face some this kind of issue? Let's say if I run this. Okay, what should be done that to understand that what it is saying? First of all, as you can see that it is already giving you some messages here. Like it is also telling you that zero division error occurred, and it will also print the line where it is exactly happening. It will tell you line number, that at which line it is happening. But still sometimes, let's say if you are a beginner, so you will feel it slightly difficult to understand. So what you can do is you can simply copy this, or you can even copy the entire thing. And let's see, you can even either Google it, or the best part right now is you can even use ChatGPT or BingChat. But I will recommend use BingChat. Why? Because it will also give you certain links because it's connected to internet. But ChatGPT as of now, it is not. So let's go to Bing Chat. So it's nothing like if you just if you open your Bing browser, Microsoft Bing, so it will appear something like this. Okay. And you will get a sign like this icon, as you can see. So if I click on that, so it will open a chat here. Okay. So what I will do is I will simply paste it, or I will say, please explain me. You can simply paste that and let's run it. Let's see what it gives you. So it says that in the demo file at line number 14, you are getting this error, and it is saying that this error occurs when a program attempts to divide by zero, which is not allowed in mathematics. So you can see it is giving you much detail, and also it is giving you that how you can rectify by using try and except block, which we will learn it later. But as of now, you can see that at least you will get a basic idea that what it is. And this is very good. Like you're getting it very thorough explanation. So down the line, obviously this kind of tool or ChatGPT or Bing Chat can be really helpful, and it will save a lot of time. Unlike before, we have to Google, or maybe we have to ask seniors that what is this. But nowadays, like it is very, very easy. You don't have to depend on anyone. And here, in order to use BingChat easily, what you have to do is one thing, that you have to create a Microsoft account. That's all. Rest of things it can, after that you can use it very easily. So I hope you like the session and learn something new today. And I hope you are excited and stay with me until the end of this journey. So till then, keep on learning and keep on exploring. Thank you all. See you all in the next session.